morning, everybody. We wanted to give a follow-up on our last video that we posted. If you saw our last video, you saw that the storage solution we'd come up with for the tractor didn't go so well. So you probably noticed our name is Tilted Barn. We didn't just arrive at that to be cute. Our barn is what Mr. Simon loves to call a POS. And we are saving our pennies for a new barn, but we're probably 2 to 3 years away from being able to build a new barn. And so it's just created a problem with a lot of our equipment that we've needed to invest in before we had the barn, just to make sure that we get it stored properly and protected from the sun and the snow and the sleet. And so what we had decided to invest in was an inexpensive, what I called a hoop house. I'm not sure what the technical name is for it.
It's a shelter.
Yeah, it's a temporary
hoop shelter, I guess. It's, if you look on any of the websites, they all have a different name depending on the company that makes them.
So the way they work is they have kind of a rib cage frame that then you pull taut a tarp over it, and so then you can get just some very superficial protection for the equipment. And we, shortly after putting it up, had a tremendous windstorm come through. If you're from the Lansing area, you probably experienced it too. And so this hoop house that we had spent $500 on, within a few days, it's garbage. Like it's a Sunday morning, the weekend of Thanksgiving, we're going to be spending our day disassembling it and trying to figure out, the best way to dispose of it. So can't overstate how disappointing that was. Not only the waste of money and the waste of time, but it meant we were back at square one for a storage solution. So Mr. Simon came up with a fantastic idea.
Well, we had some input from Facebook and from YouTube, from the subscribers, all of our social media. They've all put in quite a bit of input on what, in the last video I put up some suggestions and what they thought might be the best, and this one was hands down the winner.
Yeah.
That everybody, the consensus was this is probably the best way to go.
And it had numerous benefits. The first is that the price is right. We don't love having to buy another solution after we feel like we already did that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to spend some money, but we were looking for the best storage option that was least expensive. And the other thing is that we absolutely needed something that was not going to blow away. We live on farmland that does not have a lot of windbreak. We get a lot of wind through here. You're probably aware because you can hear it on a lot of our videos. And so, Mr. Simon, do you want to tell them what the solution is?
So we decided to go with a shipping container. So we found one locally that somebody had. It's just big enough to get the tractor in.
Carefully.
Yeah, carefully. We were careful to take a lot of measurements of the tractor and the container, both the inside dimensions, the outside dimensions, the cargo rating on this thing to make sure that it would hold the tractor, just a whole battery of different things that we had to look for. So we found one, and we bought one, and it'll be delivered soon. The next problem that we have is finding a place to put it. And
because neither of us love how it looks.
Yeah, because it is a shipping container. So we decided to put it right behind us. So right here, there you go. We're going to be moving the chicken coops, and we're going to be setting those off to the side. We don't need them until spring. We'll find a place to put them in the spring, but for right now, we're just going to pull them back out of the way, pick them up, and move them out of the way, and that's where the container is going to sit. And then once the container gets here, we'll have some leveling and things to do for that. But yeah, it's a watertight solution. It's a windproof solution.
Oh, God willing.
Unless there's a tornado, in which case then we don't really need to worry about a shipping container or a barn. But
Yeah, that's the biggest frustration, is that for all this wind that is sabotaging all of our solutions, the wind has not been strong enough to bring that barn down.
Yeah.
So we always kind of laugh at that. Eric and I worked really hard to try to find the best location for the shipping container. We work really hard to keep the footprint of our farm really streamlined. The views in our home are really important to us. We have a beautiful pond. We love to watch the cattle. We just wanted to make sure that it was going to be in a place where it wasn't going to just impede our view of the reasons that we live here.
or our neighbors. You know, we don't want to make an eyesore that our neighbors have to look at and go, oh my God, you know, what are they doing now? So,
Which they probably do anyway.
but you know, so we just want to be conscious of our neighbors as well.
Yeah.
So
we're going to be putting it along this fence line where the cattle are. The nice thing is that any wind that comes out of the south, the cattle will have a little windbreak. I hadn't thought of that. But this is the area that's most level, and it's all relative. Like it's, you know, we live on some pretty topographically interesting land. There's always sloping going on, and so that's one of the things we're kind of anxious about with it getting delivered, is just, you know, hoping that it can be relatively level, at least level enough to get equipment in there.
Or that the clay isn't too, because we have all heavy clay here, and so a little bit of water makes it a greasy mess. And so the next thing we're worried about is getting the container in, just getting it in, period, off the gravel because of the soil conditions here.
Yeah.
But
one of the other benefits too, that storage container is so much bigger than anything we were going to be putting up temporarily, and so it's so large that we're kind of excited at the ability to get a lot of the equipment that we just haven't had the storage space for into protection. So you were just looking at a lot of our hay equipment, a lot of our garden equipment, lawn equipment, and just you know, seeing if we can get that all put in there just to tighten it up, because Eric and I are both German descent, which means we like things really tidy, and when you farm, it's really hard to keep things tidy. So this is going to get us a little further down the field for that.
So today we're going to be breaking apart the coops, and then hopefully, if I can get it, we are going to, if we have time, we are going to conquer, there we go, that bad boy, and tear that thing down, and yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. As always, you know, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the page. We appreciate it. We're getting quite a bit more traffic on our channel than what we had been previously, so we're encouraged to see that, and we want to keep it going. So remember to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and we appreciate everybody that already has. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we got it broke free from the ground. It had sunk in there quite a ways. I don't know if you can see by the feet there, you know, they're good. They were a good 3-4 inches in the ground. So we're trying to save this. It was Shantana's before we bought this place, and so it's got quite a bit of sentimental value to her. So we're trying to keep it intact, so we can rebuild as much of it as we can. So let's keep going. Okay, quick update. So moving it with the tractor didn't work. It's falling apart. This thing's got some miles on it. So Mrs. Tilted Barn and I decided that we're just gonna scrap it. So that's the plan. That's why we can't have anything nice around here. Okay, even though it's a little windy, we're gonna burn it. Alright, so that was a fail. Not able to do it. It's not burning, it's too wet. Gasoline isn't even getting it started. So we're going to pile it up and move it off to the side and pile it up and try to burn it at a later time. So for now, we're going to try to break down the rest of this stuff and get it out of the way. Out of the way. Now we're gonna get the tractor and push over the chicken coop and get that out of the way, and then we should be ready for the shipping container. Well, all right, now all that's left is getting that thing taken down and we can reclaim part of our pasture back. Hey, so we're almost out of battery, so we're gonna call it. We're gonna wrap up this this episode. So don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for the shipping container and when it gets delivered and how we're gonna set it, what we're gonna do with it. There's also some big stuff coming up. We haven't broke the news yet to everybody, so we are on pins and needles waiting for this to happen, so stay tuned to see what this is all about too. Thank you, and we'll see you again.